Welcome back to another recording of the Elevate Media Podcast. I am Chris Anderson, your host, and today we're going to dive right into digital trailblazing. So how you can grow and market yourself online in a simpler fashion. So we got two experts who are going to be sharing about that, about their story and how we can, create our own trail online. Super excited to have Todd and Leah Getts on the show today. Todd, Leah, welcome to the Elevate Media Podcast today.
We're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to just dive right into it. Obviously, we're going to let people find out where to connect with you so they can hear more about your story and what you do at the end. But, talking about online businesses, marketing, things of that, what's the biggest lie people believe about starting an online business?
Oh.
The biggest one is tough. There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I'd probably say the biggest one is that there's some magic pill. Like there's this one secret strategy that you can implement that if you just do this one secret thing, you're going to, build a 7-figure business in 30 days or blah, blah, blah. Right. That's probably the biggest thing that's being sold out there by a lot of the gurus that a lot of people buy into. And what we found is that it leads to something, what we call a Frankenstein business. So you buy into the first course about, just one secret funnel is going to build a 7-figure business for you. You buy this course or you join this coaching program, you do the thing, and then you might get some results. You might make some traction, but you don't get the result. And then you find the next guru that sells you the next magic pill. And eventually you've got a lead generation funnel over here. You got a webinar funnel over here. You got a challenge funnel over here. You got a list building thing over here that you did. You got, every little thing, TikTok, Instagram. You got all these little strategies that you did. One over here, one over there, one over there. And nothing's working together. And it doesn't really make sense. And you do something, you abandon it. You do something, you abandon it. And it's just a bunch of random things. And at the end of it all, you kind of have made a little progress here and there, but it's nothing that's really sustainable. And you still don't know what to do to really get the traction and get the result that you want. That's probably the biggest thing, is that you keep getting sold these magic pills and shiny objects and nothing really works together. And it's just a system that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Just you keep starting the cycle over, right? Because you jump on each thing and then just, okay, cycle starts again, bring people in or try to. And I agree. I think that's a huge thing. And shiny object. And we see so many shiny things out there nowadays online and whatnot. So, and that's the crazy thing. Like with online, the presence to start a business, like anyone could really do it. Like it's a simple process. It's hard. And most people just don't stick with it. But you two, I mean, your stories, right? You were a nurse and a band teacher, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So what made you guys take the leap to having an online business?
Desperation, probably. In one word, desperation. It was really for us. I mean, we'd been at the time we'd been praying for kids for a very long time, for like 10 years. We finally adopted our first child, and we were living in rural Oklahoma, and Todd was stuck traveling to support us. So I was now staying at home with the baby. He was traveling Sunday afternoons through Thursday nights, Friday mornings. And I was a single mom for most of the time. It's like praying for kids for 10 years. This is not quite what we had in mind. And so we looked for how to figure this out. How do we get him home? There really wasn't any opportunities job-wise in our local area. And we came across the whole online business thing. And really we got started kind of roundabout through, like a lot of folks, dipping our toes in to the what do they call it, Todd? I don't want to say the drug of choice. It's not that. It's
now I can't think of it.
Okay, there's a saying, but network marketing, right? It's the the way into entrepreneurship for a lot of people, and that was for us. And so we got started with
Gateway drug. That's it.
Gateway drug. That's what it is.
There it is.
And we started there. We really sucked. We were not good and at all. So we came online and we ended up roundabout finding affiliate marketing. That's where our world took off. That's where we learned, hey, we can just learn how to sell something. We don't even have to learn how to deliver it. Someone else handles that. Let's just learn on how to build an audience, how to sell. And that's where we really honed our skills and took off. And then from there, that was how we hit 6 figures a year. From there, we added, people started asking us how we were generating leads, how we were doing these things. So we put together our very first course teaching what we do. And then we very quickly had our first 7-figure year, and things just kind of went crazy from there. And so we've been we love this online space, and it's been a huge blessing, not just for our family, but for being able to help people share their gifts and their expertise. No matter what your knowledge base is, what your expertise is, if you've got something that is valuable in the marketplace, there's a way to make this a very beautiful business for your family and for the people that you can help. And so that's what we do.
That's awesome. And that's so true. Like there's so much room out there, so many things you could, paths you can follow. But what's one thing that you would say in the first 90 days, most people would never think to try to help them be successful?
So I can go. I don't know, Todd, but
you go.
Okay.
I know what I'd say. You go.
Really, in the first 90 days, I think what a lot of people kind of hide back in their comfort zone and work on just the offer, whether that's the course, whether that's the coaching program, and they want to just make it perfect. And it kind of, you fall into this trap of being in your comfort zone, because it's way easy to not put yourself out there, hide behind your desk, and just work on stuff that you're really good at. Yep. Whereas in the first 90 days, you need to work on building an audience and building the top of funnel. So getting yourself out there, being a guest on podcasts, starting to build that social presence, letting people aware of what you do, but then also building out the top part of the funnel, which, basic lead magnet funnel, where you're offering a great freebie, you're getting people on your email list, you're welcoming them into your Facebook group, you're doing different ways to allow people to connect with you, and then to draw them closer to you, to learn more about you, so that when you're ready to start selling, you're ready for that launch webinar or to start opening the doors to your coaching program. Now you've actually got people who know who you are and are interested in your topic and are willing to, take that journey with you.
Yeah, I think that's good.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. The analogy we often use is, imagine you're opening a restaurant franchise. Let's say it's a McDonald's. If you're opening a McDonald's, and let's say it's in the middle of nowhere in the desert with no roads going to it, you've got the same menu, you've got the same branding, you've got the same marketing, you've got the same everything as the exact same McDonald's in the middle of Times Square, New York. But which one is going to be more successful? Obviously, the one with the more traffic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The success of your business is largely dependent on your ability to build an audience and generate traffic, build an audience. If you can't do that, it doesn't matter how great your offer is. The offer itself is not going to build the audience. You need to get skilled at getting out there, attracting the audience, nurturing them, and moving them to a sale. That's why Ray Kroc, right? The guy who kind of made the McDonald's franchise what it is today. That's like his famous quote is, "We're not in the burger business, we're in the real estate business."
Yep.
Right. It's not McDonald's. They don't really have the best burgers, but they're one of the most successful restaurants franchises in the world because they have the best locations. They knew how to position themselves where there was the most foot traffic, where they were, where they had the advantage over others who maybe had a better menu and better food, but they had the better location. And that's the thing. So many people, they have this amazing offer, but it's like you've got a McDonald's in the middle of the desert with no roads to it, or a Five Guys or a Culver's or something with actually good burgers, right?
Yeah, right.
you need to know how to generate that audience. If you don't have that, then you don't have a business. But if you've got the location, it could be, it could even be a really sucky offer, right? You're going to get some traction, right? You could have a McDonald's type of burger, and if you've got the location, you can offer something that people will buy.
Yeah, no, agreed. Yeah, I think that's key. And so, what do you all do, different that others don't, that make you stand out, that help you get, more traffic into what you guys do?
Yeah, we create an ecosystem with what we do. So I think there's a lot of folks that have been like, it's this one thing, or it's only organic, or it's only paid. Right. And we've made a lot of money over paid over the years, But in today's space, what really works is creating an ecosystem where you're creating really great content, but you're also layering in paid ads so it can kind of amplify each other. So we've got our digital Trailblazer podcast where we talk all things marketing and sales and helping people build their online businesses. And that is a top 2% podcast. So we're able to reach people, get folks into our world, plus all of our social presence, our Facebook group. So we've got really great content that's going out and nurturing and all of that good stuff. But then we're also layering in ads so that we make sure that we're reaching enough new people to reach our goals. Because even if you're really good at organic these days, the quantity of traffic is not scalable if it's organic. You scale with paid ads. So when you've got great content, you've got your message dialed in, you've got all these things, and you just need more people, awesome. Let's leverage some ads to do that.
Right. No, I think that's great. So what would you say, like, as people are trying to do this, create this ecosystem, get, all that narrowed down, what's the one skill every online entrepreneur should master first?
You want to take that one, Todd?
Yeah, I'd say the traffic. You need to learn how to generate traffic, whether it's organic, whether it's networking, whether it's paid ads. Start with one. You don't have to get into everything all at once, right? Start with one, and start building a list and start building an audience and nurturing that audience. That's the most important thing. Like Leah mentioned at the very beginning, if all you're doing is you're working on the offer, you're working on the website, you're working on the logo, you're working on your branding colors or whatever, you're going to waste a lot of time trying to put together this perfect thing. And then you're going to quote launch, and then it's going to be crickets. And you're going to start all over from the beginning, trying to figure out how to generate traffic, how to get traffic to that offer. Whereas if you had done the traffic, even just a little bit, right? Just a little bit here and there, gradually building an audience over time, just do that along with creating your offer, refining it, building out your website, doing all that stuff. When you're ready to launch, you'll have people ready to buy. But if you're not working on that from the very beginning, you're gonna start behind.
Sure. Yeah. And with that, like, I think that's important. Is there a good delineation of, say you're doing organic or ads, whatever it is, that first point of communication, first touch point? Do you see it's still a long nurturing sequence, along, many touch points before the sale happens, or have you got it down for like that rapid sale, straight off the bat?
Yeah. So there was a point in time where, and there's still a lot of people doing this. Like we've got our own podcast. We've interviewed a lot of people that are doing different Facebook ad strategies, and there's still people that are doing the ads where it's the ad that goes to the webinar, that goes to book a call, that goes to selling a $5,000 or $10,000 program. And the very best return on ad spend that they can claim is 3 to 5 times return on ad spend, which is good. I mean, anybody's, but that's like the best. Most people are not doing that well with that type of funnel. Then we've interviewed people on our podcast, and there have been several of them, and they are not sophisticated marketers, but they are focusing on retargeting ads. And so, and they're focusing on value. So it's not, the ad to the pitch to the book call. It's ad that gives value, that says, hey, by the way, if you want to learn more about this thing I just talked about, download my free guide. Drop me a line in the comments, and I'll send you this thing or whatever. And then anybody that has engaged with that ad, or they've watched 20% of that video, or anybody that has visited the website, right? They got the pics on the website, or they've engaged with any other posts on their on their Facebook or Instagram page. They use those as retargeting audiences to retarget them with middle funnel type of ads and content.
Okay.
And so this middle funnel type of stuff is the nurture content. And this doesn't have to be expensive. You can do $5 a day on the top of funnel stuff, $3 per day on the middle funnel stuff. Middle funnel stuff is more of the specific type of questions that move them closer to the sale. This is where we overcome more of the objections to buying and joining. So these might be objections about time, about sacrifice, about effort, things like that. So you'll start to create more videos, and this is where you need to kind of cycle in videos every week. But it's the same thing that you do organically anyways. It's basically taking your organic strategy and just putting some ad spend behind it. And you're nurturing this audience over time, and then you retarget that audience again. Anybody that's engaged with those ads, you're retargeting them with the, hey, by the way, book a call. By the way, check out my VSL. By the way, register for this webinar. By the time they get to that second level of retargeting, they're very warm. And that's where you have people, like we've had people come on, they've put in $3,000 to $6,000 of ad spend and gotten $200,000 back out.
That's awesome.
In 1 month, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that's extraordinary. That's not normal. But but those are the types of people that are running that type of an ad campaign that are getting 10, 20 times return on ad spend. And like I said, they're not always the most sophisticated marketers. So yeah, the buying cycle, especially now that the application funnel, right, the ad to the VSL to the book call, that has kind of been overdone. It's been oversaturated. People are kind of, they're wary of it already. It's kind of been worn out. The buying cycle is definitely longer now. So you need to nurture an audience. And the thing is, that's not new. That's not a new marketing principle. This is something that's been studied for decades in sales and marketing. We've known for decades that it takes an average of 7 to 12 touch points for someone to go from cold audience to paying customer or client. Google has done a study in the internet age, and they've found that they call it their, what is it, the 1174 rule or the 411? I forget what order they're in, but it's 1174. 11 touch points over four different platforms and 7 hours of interaction with your brand is what they found that it takes to take someone from cold prospect to paying client. And you think about that application funnel, or you think about the way that most people run their marketing. They've got like a sales page for a $10,000 coaching program, and they expect to make sales. And it's like, okay, that's one touch point, that is one platform, and that is about 5 minutes of interaction. Okay, so you've got a long ways to go to get that person to a sale. So that's the biggest thing. Like, it's not just building the audience, or it's not just generating the traffic, it's nurturing the audience to a point where they're ready to buy and join.
Yeah. And I think with that, like, I think first, even before you think of ads or even funnels necessarily, specifically, you probably need to look at your content strategy, right? So, because that's where they're going to get a lot of time of your brand. Is that, am I tracking on that correctly? That you should have that nailed down first?
Yeah, most people's messaging sucks. We interviewed a guy on our podcast. His name is Marty Marion. He is if you ever watch the show Mad Men, he actually worked at the advertising agency that show was based off of in the 80s, and he is one of the most genius marketers out there. And he came and talked about messaging and positioning, and he explained it in a really just genius way. The way that a lot of us typically do our messaging is we think about that USP, right? That unique selling proposition. How do we differentiate ourselves from the competition? How do we create that unique angle or whatever? And yes, that's part of it. But the thing is, when you focus only on that, that's how you come off as salesy, right? It's like, hey, my program is the best ever out there because it's a personalized touch, and you get this, that, and the other thing, and whatever, right? And it just feels really salesy. Versus the way Marty explained this to us was that the decision to buy isn't just an affirmative decision to choose your product. It's also a decision not to buy from the competitors. And that's the important part, because what we found is that we could have a really weak USP. We could have something that's really not so unique, but as long as we did a really good job of depositioning the competition, of eliminating them from consideration, of explaining to the audience why the other things that they've tried have not worked for them, and help them to really understand that, they are much more open to buying and joining from us if you could just do that. The way that we would explain it was, think about this like going to a doctor and you've got knee pain. if all you focus on is a USP, if all you focus on is how your product or your offer is the best out there, it would be like going to a doctor saying, I've got knee pain, and the doctor, without running any tests, without explaining anything to you, says, hey, guess what? I'm the very best knee surgeon out there. I can do a total knee replacement for you. I've got this revolutionary brand new knee replacement implant that is cuts recovery time down in half. It never needs to be replaced. It is totally durable. In fact, it's so good you can do impact sports again. You can play football. You can do blah, 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 right? All those things may be true, but you're just going to feel like you're being sold to. Versus if you go to the doctor and you say you got knee pain, and the doctor says, okay, let's run some tests. Okay, you run some tests, you get the scans back, and he says, okay, look at this. Here's the problem. You've got 90% cartilage loss, and you've got arthritis forming. Now, the things that you might have tried to do, or the things that you could try that might be helpful. Number one, we can fix your diet. We can do an anti-inflammatory diet that'll help to reduce the pain, that'll bring down some of the inflammation. We could also, obviously there's over-the-counter anti-inflammatory medications that may help, but you don't really want to do those long-term. You could also do cortisone injections, but again, that's kind of a Band-Aid fix. You got to come in for those every month. There's also some supplements you could take, MSM, chondroitin, fish oils, blah, 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 right? There's all these other things you can do. The problem with all these other things is that they're all just Band-Aid fixes. None of these are going to regrow the cartilage. None of these are going to reverse arthritis. And so that's why I really recommend a total knee replacement. Now, the total knee replacement that I do is a little bit different from what other doctors do. It's very new. It's very revolutionary. And then you go into why your USP is, your USP and all that. Then the patient feels educated. They feel like they're making an informed decision. And that's what we need to do with our marketing. It's not that we're bashing the other methods. It's not like we're saying, hey, by the way, all these other coaches, they suck. All these other things that you're trying, they suck. We're not saying that. We're saying, hey, they may be helpful, but here's probably why they didn't work for you in your situation. It's because this and this and this. That's how we need to do our marketing. And it is a much longer process. It's a harder argument to make, but that's what we need to do in order not just to get the sale, but also do it in a way where people feel like they're not just being sold to.
Absolutely, yeah. So you could do that all through different touch points, right? You can hit on all those, what separates you and things of that nature through your process, and through your content as well, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing with your content. People have shorter attention spans, and so you don't want to have to create hour-long content every time. 3 to 5 minute videos here and there about one little piece of it. That's what your audience needs.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely breaking it down. And you see, going forward, like a strategy changing this year for you all with the rise of AI and what they're doing as far as content. Do you see that helping or hindering going forward?
I think it brings us back to the basics. So yes, AI is out there. Yes, it can be an amazing tool. Truthfully, most people are not using it very well, and it's not very helpful, even if they don't recognize it or not. But people buy from those they know, like, and trust. And if you are masking yourself behind a bunch of AI stuff, why would they ever buy from you? Like, they can just go to ChatGPT and ask it a bunch of questions if they want to work with AI. Right? It's about building a relationship. So I feel like it's the same core principles as always, but it's becoming more important than ever to build that personal touch, to be a real person. I mean, it's driving me nuts. I'm in all of these entrepreneur groups and stuff on Facebook, and there's all these women out there who are posting these like supermodel photos of themselves, which are all AI. And you're like, but that's not you. And if you're trying to get people to hire you to work with you, and like, it's just fake, and authenticity is everything, because we can all just go to ChatGPT and ask it questions, right? We want an actual human to connect with, who cares about us, who cares about our success, who can help us learn based on their experience and work with us to get a great result. So AI is awesome. We should be using it strategically in our businesses to help streamline things, help with ideas and different things when you're kind of create content. But you need to stay consistent with your personality, your voice, your realness, your authenticity in order to be able to thrive today.
Yeah. Well, and people
I
were sick
agree.
of the automation before all this AI anyways, right? You
Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
what happened with webinars. Like webinars, if you did a live webinar 10 years ago, you probably had a 30 to 50% show rate, and it was good. And then over the years, once they started doing the simulated lives, where you could do a pre-recorded and you could do a simulated
Yep.
chat role, you could broadcast it at a certain time so it looked like it was live, but it really wasn't. And people started to catch on that this wasn't a real webinar.
Mhm.
I mean, if you do a live webinar now, you're lucky to get high teens in the show rates,
Right.
right? It's
Yep.
just not the same number because people are just sick of it. They don't want, when they see a webinar, it's trying to convince people that it's actually going to be live and they should show up is the hardest part.
Yep. Yeah, and that's kind of what we see from the video side of things, is because there is so much content being just created ad nauseum from AI, that we're going to see a swing back even more strongly to actual video content, stuff like this, the live streams, the actual live streams where you have interaction, and it might not be a webinar, but it's just engaging things from brands and businesses because of that know, like, and trust factor that's going to have to be built. Because people are going to get tired of seeing the AI avatars, the AI created images, and they're going to crave that human interaction. So I think through video online is going to be huge going forward, continue to. And also, I think we're getting back to live events more and more because of it, just, again, craving that human interaction. But it's an interesting, and a lot of people, I see so many people who are doing one thing, and then AI took off, and now all it is AI this, AI that, and I'm like, you're just jumping on the next shiny thing. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
so, so what's one piece of advice, kind of, as we wind things down here in this episode, which has been great? I mean, it's been a lot of great, fantastic content. One piece of advice you would give to someone who's stuck at, maybe 2 to 5 to maybe 10K months?
I think it kind of goes back to the theme of the episode today is traffic, right?
Yeah.
Usually people are stuck at this level because of limited traffic. So yes, if it's all super manual and you're manually having to do everything to make a sale, yeah, you got to get that handled before you can turn on traffic. But most people have some sort of system that's sufficient, maybe not optimized, but sufficient enough to make the sale, and they need to hone in on traffic. If you are stuck at $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month and you want to get to $20,000 a month or $30,000 a month, you got to drive enough traffic. People don't realize, like, if you've got a high ticket offer, you're going to need 100 leads to generate 1 or 2 sales. That blows people's mind when they're first getting started, because they're like, I generated 5 leads. Where's my sale? And you're like,
Yeah, you got a little bit of way to
good
go.
job. Like, that's the beginning, but we need to get a lot more. And so, yes, choose your traffic strategy, master it, get really good at it, and then you can start to scale this.
For sure. Awesome. Todd, anything from you?
Yeah, that would be where I'd say you need to focus. That and then the messaging would be the second thing. You really need to hone in not just on your USP, but you got to identify what else is your target audience considering to achieve the same goal that you're trying to achieve. And you need to address those. And it's not always just other coaching programs. Like if I'm a health coach, I'm not just competing against other health coaching programs. I'm competing against supplements. I'm competing against Ozempic. I'm competing against anything out there that people may be trying to do to achieve the same goal that I help people to achieve. So I need to address those and deposition them from those other methods before I even present my own offer. So that would be the other thing, the traffic and the messaging. And if you can get those 2 things down, you'll be so much further ahead, rather than trying to work on a webinar or a challenge or whatever else.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think that's spot on. And do you recommend people, because it's a big thing, how often should they post? If they've got their message and their content, does it matter? Is it just consistency? What have you seen?
Yeah, so you need to stay consistent. You need to stay in front of people. It's like we said, that's that 11-7-4 rule. You need to stay in front of people. You can't disappear. Marketing is like dating. You've probably heard this before. Marketing is like dating. If you meet somebody on a first date and you hit it off and it's going great. And then you just ghost them for a couple of weeks, and then you try to, that's not going to be good. You want to stay in contact with them. So regular content, I'd say at least once a week, have some sort of video content going out. Email your list at least once a week. If you're posting on Instagram, and it depends on the platform too, right? Just pick one platform. If it's YouTube, once a week is probably fine. Maybe take a longer episode, cut it up into shorts. Like there's a bunch of ways to take a longer piece of content, cut it up, and to repurpose it into shorter pieces of content to create a bunch of things that can go out throughout the week. So I'd say just once a week, create something that's 5 to 10 minutes long, cut it up, use it like that, and email it out to your list, and that's a good place to start.
For sure. Awesome. Appreciate that. Again, been fantastic episode. I appreciate you both being on today. If people are curious to learn more about what you do, learn from you, and possibly get your help, where's the best place for them to connect with you?
Yeah. So obviously we got our own podcast, which you mentioned a couple of times, the Digital Trailblazer podcast. Digitaltrailblazer.com is our website if you want to check us out there. And that would be the best place to start.
Awesome. Yeah. So everyone, make sure you get connected with Todd and Leah there. Learn from them, get their help if it makes sense. But until next time, continue to go out there, elevate your life, elevate your business, and we'll talk to you again soon.